What if the idea of Adam as the world's first human being is not quite accurate? What if he is actually the first person in a new category, a member of a new race? In this video, we will examine the biblical basis for this claim and explore the fascinating implications for our understanding of Genesis and humanity as a whole. The key to unlocking this mystery lies in the Hebrew text. So let's dive into the language of the Bible itself to uncover the truth. First, we must understand that the Bible doesn't teach that Adam was the first person ever created. However, the Bible does state that Adam was the first human. The book of Genesis begins with the creation of the heavens and the earth, and then focuses on the creation of man. The creation account includes various kinds of living beings such as plants, animals, and humans, but it doesn't claim that Adam was the first living thing ever created. In fact, the book of Genesis tells us that the earth was created over vast periods of time. On the first day, light was created. On the second day, the firmament that separates the waters above from the waters below was created. On the third day, dry land and vegetation were formed. On the fourth day, the sun, moon, and stars were created. On the fifth day, marine creatures and birds were created. And on the sixth day, terrestrial creatures and humans were created. What is most important to note here is that the book of Genesis does not teach that Adam was the first living creature created, but instead it teaches that Adam was the first human created. If we pay close attention to the Genesis creation account, we can find some interesting linguistic clues that suggest Adam was not the first of his kind, but rather the first of a new kind. The Hebrew word for man in Genesis 1:27 is Adam, singular. However, in Genesis 2:7, the Hebrew word for man is plural, meaning men. How can this be? The answer to this question has been debated by theologians, scholars, and scientists alike. Some believe that Adam was originally created as a single individual who was later joined by Eve. Others argue that the Genesis narrative refers to multiple individuals who lived in the Garden of Eden before Adam and Eve. The latter viewpoint is supported by the fact that Adam's brother Cain killed his brother Abel, which indicates that there were other humans alive at the time. Additionally, when Cain feared for his life and asked God what would happen if anyone found him, he inquired, "Who knows whether the one who has found me will also kill me?" Genesis 4:24. This implies that Cain believed there were people living outside of the garden who posed a threat to his well-being. These verses offer a glimpse into the bigger picture of creation and hint at the possibility that Adam and Eve were not the only humans on earth. They were part of a larger community that existed in the world before their time. Another intriguing detail that supports the theory of pre-Adamic humans is the mention of the Nephilim in Genesis 6:4. The Bible states that giants or Nephilim inhabited the earth in the days before the flood. If these giants are indeed the descendants of Adam and Eve, then it follows that they could not have been the first humans on earth, as it would have been chronologically impossible for them to have lived on earth for hundreds of years before the flood. Their existence points to a timeline stretching back even further, suggesting the presence of earlier human populations. These giants are mentioned again in Numbers 13:33, where the Israelites are described as seeing the Nephilim, the sons of Anak, as giants. Further evidence of a pre-Adamic civilization is found in the book of Enoch, which tells the story of the fall of the angels and their interaction with human beings. The book of Enoch, though not part of the canonical Bible, offers valuable insights into early Jewish apocalyptic literature and beliefs regarding the fallen angels known as the Watchers. According to this text, the Watchers mated with human women and produced offspring known as the Nephilim. This narrative provides a possible explanation for the giants mentioned in Genesis 6:4. In Numbers 13:33, the Israelites are said to have seen the Nephilim, the sons of Anak, as giants in the land of Canaan. The Book of Enoch expands on this account, providing a deeper understanding of the giants' origins and nature. According to the book, the Watchers were angels who descended from heaven and chose to rebel against the divine order. They abandoned their heavenly duty and associated themselves with human beings, specifically with the daughters of men, whom they took as wives. The result of these unions were the Nephilim, colossal beings born with extraordinary size and strength. The Nephilim are portrayed as violent and wicked, causing great destruction and suffering on earth. Their existence serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of disobedience and the corruption that can arise when divine boundaries are crossed. This begs the question, why did the Watchers, once heavenly beings, choose to abandon their celestial existence and pursue relationships with humans? The answer lies in their desire for earthly pleasures and power. The Watchers, captivated by human culture and societal norms, abandoned their spiritual duties and sought to immerse themselves in the material world. Their association with the daughters of men was not merely a product of lust, but a deliberate choice to align themselves with human society and gain influence over it. This narrative highlights the universal struggle between good and evil, emphasizing the importance of remaining faithful to one's divine purpose and the dangers of succumbing to earthly temptations. The Book of Enoch also provides insights into the origins of the fallen angels themselves. They are said to have descended from a higher heavenly realm known as the Heaven of Heavens, led by the fallen angel Azazel. Azazel, driven by pride and a desire for ultimate power, rebelled against the divine order and corrupted his fellow angels, leading them down a path of sin and transgression. The fallen angels, once radiant celestial beings, became imprisoned in the abyss, condemned to an eternity of torment and separation from the divine presence. These stories reveal the complex web of angelic and human interactions that shape the course of human history. The presence of these beings raises profound questions about the nature of good and evil, the consequences of disobedience, and the eternal struggle between heaven and hell. As we continue to explore the enigmatic accounts of the fallen angels and their impact on humanity, we are reminded of the fragility of our existence and the importance of remaining steadfast in our faith. Adam, covenant, not biology. While it's true that Adam is referred to as the first man in the Bible, it's essential to recognize that this designation may not necessarily carry a purely biological meaning. Instead, it's possible that Adam held a special status as the first covenant man, marking a significant shift in the relationship between humanity and divinity. This interpretation is supported by the concept of the covenant, a central theme throughout the Bible, which describes a formal agreement or bond between God and humanity. Through this covenant, God bestowed upon Adam and his descendants certain responsibilities and blessings, establishing a framework for their interaction with the divine. By designating Adam as the first covenant man, the Bible emphasizes the religious and spiritual dimensions of human existence, highlighting the importance of obedience and faithfulness to the divine will. This understanding of Adam's significance allows for the possibility of other human beings existing prior to Adam's appearance in the biblical narrative, as it does not restrict the concept of humanity solely to those who belong to the Abrahamic covenant. Instead, it recognizes that human existence may have predated the establishment of this particular covenant. So while the Bible affirms that Adam was the first man in terms of the Abrahamic covenant, it does not explicitly state that he was the very first human being biologically. The notion of Adam as the first human is a common assumption. But it's crucial to recognize that the Bible's teachings on creation extend beyond the Genesis account. Throughout Scripture, we encounter references to other human beings who existed before Adam. For example, in Romans 5:12, Paul states that sin entered the world through one man and death through sin. He goes on to explain that humanity was not created in a sinful state, but rather became corrupted by sin. This passage suggests that the concept of humanity encompasses more than just those who descend from Adam. It hints at the possibility that other human beings existed prior to Adam's appearance in the Genesis narrative. In conclusion, the idea of Adam as the world's first human being is not fully supported by the Bible. The Bible states that Adam was the first human, but not the first living thing created. And there are other humans that existed before Adam and Eve, including the Nephilim, the sons of God. Adam was the first human, but not necessarily the first human. The Bible teaches that Adam was the first human in a new creation order after the fall. Before Adam, there may have been other humans created in the image of God, but after the fall, the creation order changed, and Adam represents the beginning of a new era in human history. The Bible is clear that Adam was created in the image of God, which sets him apart from other creatures and establishes his unique value and dignity. This image reflects the qualities of creativity, wisdom, and righteousness that God desires his people to embody. In contrast, the Nephilim are described as giants who engage in violence and wickedness, indicating a departure from the righteous path ordained by God. Adam's creation in God's image signifies the restoration and continuation of divine order, setting him apart as the representative of humanity in its renewed relationship with God. We hope that this video has deepened your understanding of the biblical narrative and inspired you to explore the rich tapestry of faith and history. Remember to stay connected to our channel for more enlightening discussions. Thank you for joining us on this thought-provoking journey.